course of all this event and in time for being the law last year, and this is why we have been background for this, the Collins family were very generous when they were in Cork, in one place, which is unusual for any family, to facilitate a series of events which we were involved in. And one of those was a piece by Paul O'Rourke from the Collins family, who spoke on Michael Collins, and was really a piece on Michael Collins, the person as opposed to the icon and as opposed to the military man and all the other pieces that we know. We were trying to mark his generosity in some way so effectively. In our public museum there is an original work called The Unfinished Portrait by Leo Wheeler, which is of Michael Collins, albeit in military uniform, shortly before he was assassinated, and effectively the lower part of his arm is unfinished, as is tradition with anybody who is a portrait painter. If the subject dies, the portrait immediately stops at that time. We presented a digital copy of that to Paul, and the Collins family, I know, were taken aback that we did that. And the following morning at 8:30 when I came to work, Paul was at the front door. He said, look, we had a meeting last night, and we decided that, as generous as that is, we would like to see a portrait of Michael Collins displayed somewhere in the city. So according as the statue he started to generate, and I'm involved around that in commemoration as well, I thought it would be very appropriate, and he gave me the latitude, by the way, to say, you can do whatever, place wherever you want, that we will have it in the library, because again, following the actual placement of the statue out here this morning, and all that will go with that, you have no idea of how much that will generate in terms of historical interest in people coming in here. And my colleagues in local studies will be facing it for years to come, where people from all parts of the world will look at the statue and say, okay, how do we find out more? Obviously the libraries behind you, it's visible. I'm going to ask our guests just to unveil by pulling the bottom of the piece off so you can see the portrait for yourselves. It will remain permanently on view, even if our new city library comes along, which we're all up for and Brian is going to get to know there. Michael Collins will also transfer there in due course. Yeah. One. Yeah. Yeah. You good? Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
I suppose once again I'd just like to thank our three guests, Jimmy Barry Murphy and Rena Buckley and Ronan O'Gara, for coming here to unveil the statue today. And I suppose as a token of the appreciation of the Michael Collins 100 Committee and also Cork City Council, we are making presentations to our three guests. Now, I would like to ask Connie Keller to come forward and to make this presentation to Rena Buckley. Now, first of all, I suppose before we do that, these are original daily sketches. They're not photocopies. They're actually from over 100 years ago. They mainly deal with the funeral of Michael Collins. And of course, we have to say we'd like to thank Noel Scannell for actually donating these from his collection. So again, these are not photocopies, these are the real deal you're looking at. So I'd like to ask Connie there, please, to present this to Rena Buckley.
Turning around, Connie. Oh. Could you tilt it forward a little more even? Yeah. Great.
Now the next picture I picked up here is the one we're presenting to Ronan O'Gara. So I'd like to ask Councillor Shane O'Callaghan to step forward and to make this presentation to Ronan, please.
Thank you, Shane.
Thanks again. Cheers. Dwayne Crowley to step forward and make this presentation to Jimmy Barry Murphy.
Ordmhéire Cathair Corky, Ari Cóvna agus Magra, Corlóri Hachty Dála, Feimig Cathair Corky, an Tespag ó Bhúcala, Méire Cloch na Gaeilge, Baldwin Clare, Garda Síochána, Forsatí Cosanta, Baniciol, na híanta speisialta inniu, fáistí agus múntóirí na scolanna agus lucht an phobal illig. Son cuiste an céad bhílí Calán, bhvallam fáilte criúil a churóibh go léir inniu, chuig an ócáid fíorstarúil seo, Nocta Dalamh do Mícheál Calán I lár Cóthar Corcaí. Cork City Lord Mayor, Ministers Coveney and McGrath, Councillors, TDs, City Council Executives, Bishop Lucy, who I'm told to mention is representing the bowling community, Clonakilty District Mayor, Mayor Hinchy, the Army Band, clergy, special guests, teachers and children from the various schools and members of the public who are gathered here today. On behalf of the Michael Collins 100 Committee, I extend a sincere welcome to you all here today to the special historic occasion, the unveiling of the monumental statue to Michael Collins in Cork City Centre. This project has been under discussion. This project has been under discussion with various groups for some years past, and in the end, the Michael Collins 100 Committee, in association with Cork City Council, decided to erect a memorial statue to the rebel leader in the rebel city. Mar sin a gnuúis le chun tús a chur le amachtaí an léanamh, ba bhalam ar dúis gléic ar ardmhéara Cóthar Corcaí an cóirleoir Kieran McCarthy chun cúpla focail aránineh. Kieran McCarthy le bhór down.
Dear distinguished guests, dear friends, I have three very brief messages for you this afternoon. My first message, dear friends, is all about the power of the rich stories that underpin Cork's past and Ireland's past, and how this statue that we unveil here this afternoon adds to the city's memory bank as such. And in a historic port city such as Cork, stories swirl around us. Every few metres, even on this street, you're stopped, you're made one question, you wonder, you dream, you remember, you're made curious, you're disturbed, you explore and not forget. And certainly on this historic street in the Grand Parade, there's an abundance of stories, memories, curiosities. A former Rushes and Reeds thrown river channel, a former impressive moat of the walled town of Cork, a curious late 18th century cannon reputed from the siege of Cork, a bridge named after an 18th century champion of Cork's impoverished Nano Nagle, an unfinished and an unfriendly gift of a fountain by Walter Berwick, and a thought-provoking national monument placed in 1906, 10 years before the Easter Rising, and a new library emblazoned with an Irish Free State harp which replaced our Carnegie Library. And the list goes on and on and on in terms of the histories and memories on the street. But my first brief message, dear friends, is how lucky we are in this great city of Cork to have such a wide heritage, history, memory, and also a very strong sense of memory and a strong sense of place. And this statue, dear friends, this afternoon will add to the great sense of memory and the great sense of place that this city actually has. And my second message, dear friends, is bound up in narrowing the lens, the historical lens, even more, to reflect on why we are placing a statue of Michael Collins on this great historical street. It's important that this was, way back in March 1922, it was the first political rally that Collins attended outside Dublin to promote support for the treaty in Cork City. And all of the regional newspapers were present and reported on it. But on Saturday afternoon, the 11th of March, Michael and his colleagues arrived to Cork City. And as they arrived and passed through the streets, not everyone was happy. There was also massive security concerns. Anti-treaty supporters fired gunshots into the air, but Collins kept coming to the Turner's Hotel here on Oliver Plunkett Street, but there was massive security concerns. On Sunday the 11th of March, 50,000 people turned up at the rally, and there was two platforms here on the Grand Parade to hear what Michael had to say. And the core of Michael's speech was basically a rebuttal of many of De Valera's ideas in previous weeks when he came to town. But Michael went on to comment on the treaty negotiations and the success of the British Army leaving the south of Ireland. The pro-treaty rally on the Cork's Grand Parade on Sunday the 12th of March was deemed a success. Indeed, the following day, Michael received several deputations. People wanted to find out, well, what will the new Irish Free State look like? What is the plan for the future? So there was Irish ex-servicemen, Tenants Association, Labour councils, and merchants attending, going, well, what are you doing from the Burney of Cork? Why do we have buildings that are still standing? And Michael did have answers to many of those questions. The city had 80,000 people that were unemployed. So in one sense, it's great coming into the city with an oration, but he managed to also say, well, here is the plan for the future. And over the ensuing 6 weekends, Michael held political rallies from Skibbereen to Waterford to Wexford, Castlebar, Tralee and Naas, where questions and answers continued. My third brief message to you, dear friends, concerns one of the statements that Michael gave on this street on the 11th of March. And towards the end of his passionate speech, he made a noble call about creating a better Ireland for future generations. And he quoted the following: "We have a chance now of giving our people a better life. We have a chance of doing the things that the people require done. We have a chance that the people shall no longer live the life of peace. We have a chance of ending our slums. We have a chance of ending the hovels of some of our country places. We have a chance of making our population happy and healthy. We have a chance now, not by travelling any soft road, God knows, by a hard, tilted effort to make Ireland something for the next generation." End quote. My dear friends, we are Michael's next generation. And yes, much was done in the emerging Free State to create a better Ireland. One just has to look at Cork's development in the 1920s, 1930s and 1940s. But here we are, over 100 years later, after Michael's oration here, in a time where a hard tilted effort needs to be made again for ourselves and for our future generations, across elements in particular on housing, hospital care, social inclusion, equality, community life, future-proofing employment, everything that Michael called for 100 years ago on this particular street. We have a chance in our time to finish what Michael and his compatriots started, and we owe it to ourselves to finish the job, work together and to strive forward together. So dear friends, yes, today we unveil a new statue of Michael Collins. But we also need to reflect on the cauldron of different simmering ideas or messages. It's important to reflect on the history of this particular street, what Michael said way back in March 1922, and where we are going over the next 50 to 100 years. To conclude, I wish to thank the fundraising committee most heartily for this great addition to the history of our city. I'd also like to give a sincere thanks to my colleague, Councillor Shane O'Callaghan, for his commitment in the council chamber to champion the story of Michael Collins, to Kevin Holland for his creative skills, and to Mr. Holland for his creative skills in forging this beautiful piece of sculpture work. My dear friends, we have a chance. Let's make that chance work for our future generation, for this generation and for the next generation. Gur míle maith agaibh go léir.
Gur míle maith agat a Vera. Bhavana Manish Tim Crowley, Cahirlook of the Collins 100 Committee, a noted local historian who runs the Michael Collins Centre Museum of Clonakilty and who has put an amount of work into this whole project. Tim Crowley led the hall.
I suppose it would be just important to briefly talk about the history of this project. It began in 2019 with a number of us coming up with the idea of commissioning a statue of Michael Collins with his bicycle, based on the famous iconic photograph of Michael Collins taken in Wexford in the spring of 1922. And we felt that that image was extremely powerful. The rebel leader running a war against the most powerful empire the world had ever seen at that time, basically going around dressed as a businessman, riding a bicycle. Now, Councillor Shane O'Callaghan of Cork City Council and a businessman, Jerry Carey, Cork businessman, heard about our idea, and they came to us and wondered if we would put the statue here, or be interested in organising the statue being put here in Cork City. And as Trailer could have already said, the slogan came into our heads straight away: the Rebel Michael Collins in the Rebel City. Now, Shane O'Callaghan organised the passing of the motion then through Cork City Council, which that was passed in September of 2022, and it was actually a vote of 22 votes in favour and just one against. And that was an incredible endorsement from the Cork City councillors for this project. And I have to thank the councillors for their vision in recognising the importance of this statue and supporting the project from the word go. Now, we organised, we put together a small committee ourselves then, the Michael Collins 100 committee of just 8 people, and we organised, we invited people that had different specialities, people good at finance, tech, fundraising and so on. And at the same time, of course, Cork City Council put their own statute committee together as well, and a lot of the officials of Cork City Council put a lot of work into this particular project. Now, at this stage, we've commissioned artist Kevin Holland to create this new statue of Michael Collins. Some of us in the Michael Collins 100 committee have a long history working with Kevin, because in 2002 he created the iconic statue of Michael Collins in Clonakilty, which portrays Michael Collins, of course, as a statesman making a speech. And when you look around Cork City and County after today, we will have 3 pretty iconic images of Michael Collins on public display. We have one of Michael Collins as a statesman in Clonakilty. We also have the famous Seamus Murphy bust here in Fitzgerald Park in Cork, and Michael Collins is portrayed as the general there with the military tunic, a beautiful piece. And here we will be unveiling shortly the Michael Collins statue, portraying him as the rebel leader. So a lot of images of Michael Collins for people to go around and to enjoy. The new Michael Collins statue being unveiled here shortly not alone symbolises him, but also that generation, a civilian army taking on the army of a military, of an empire, and in the end forcing that empire to the negotiating table. And we in Ireland today, in this country, are enjoying the fruits of what that generation did. And I think we should always be grateful to the men and women of just over 100 years ago for the gift that they've given us, this country. And as I was saying, as you will see in a minute, there's an awful lot of depth in this sculpture. It portrays a civilian with a bicycle, but in many ways it's a military sculpture as well, because a guerrilla army that Michael Collins was one of the leaders of at the time, they usually don't have any uniform. They blend in with everybody else. So there is huge power and a huge history behind this piece, I think. Now, of course, a little bit about the bicycle that you will be seeing revealed there shortly. It's a replica of the Pierce bicycle that Michael Collins stood next to in the famous photograph taken in Wexford in the spring of 1922. From what we know about Pierce bicycles, they were difficult to cycle. They were very tall and not that long. And there isn't too many of them left around today. But I'm delighted to say there are 2, a ladies' version and a man's version, on display in Johnstown Castle Museum in County Wexford. And we actually had the men's version on display at the launch of this project last December in the City Hall here in Cork. Now, of course, at the time Michael Collins was speaking here in Cork, as the Mayor would have referred to earlier, in March of 1922, around that time he also visited the Forts and Tractor Factory down in the marina here in the city as well. And there's a famous photograph taken of him standing with a Forts and Tractor, taken the day that he visited that particular plant. Michael Collins must have had a great interest in Pierce bicycles, because there's an interesting piece from the Cork Examiner dated the 28th of June 1922, and it says, Michael Collins presented a Pierce bicycle to the Cork Drapers Sports Meeting as first prize for the 5-mile cycle open handicap.
and the bicycle was supplied by D.T. O'Sullivan, Cycle and Motor Agents, Cook Street, Cork. So Michael Collins had a bit of form when it came to the Pierce bicycles. Now, from the experience we've had in Clonakilty since the Michael Collins statue was unveiled there in 2002, it has become a great visitor attraction down there in the town. And we're pretty sure the new Michael Collins statue being unveiled there shortly will be a big attraction here in Cork City as well. And the one in Clonakilty has led to all sorts of trails and a new museum being opened up. And I'm sure the new statue here in Cork will lead to a lot of new developments with tourism and all of that as well. Now, of course, Michael Collins was a very proud Corkman. And he had two sisters that lived here at different times in the city. There was one of his sisters, Mary Collins Powell, and then in later times, Henny, another sister, lived quite close to the city here as well. But a lot of his associates in Dublin during the War of Independence and that time noticed that he seemed to have a lot of Corkmen as his closest confidants. And they were known by the Dublin people as the Cork Mafia that surrounded Michael Collins. And I think it's important to mention some of those men: Joe O'Reilly, Gerard O'Sullivan, Liam Tobin, Sean O'Merlahan, Diarmaid O'Hagetha. And what about a man from the Manway called Sam Maguire, who was Michael Collins' intelligence chief in London. And then, of course, Michael Collins had a great friendship with Sean Hales from West Cork and his brother Tom. And they took opposite sides, unfortunately, in the Civil War afterwards. And Michael Collins, a few days before he was shot, I think was up in the Curragh, and he was, as well as running the war against the anti-treaty side, he was trying to negotiate a quick end to the fighting as well. And he made a comment that to help end the war, the three Toms will sort it out. And two of the three he was referring to, of course, would be Tom Hales and Tom Barry, obviously associated here with Cork City and County as well. If we were here 101 years ago, in March of 1922, when Michael Collins made the speech, more or less where the statue will be unveiled there now in a minute, if we went around the corner here into Patrick Street, well then it was a site of destruction. Because from the burning of December of 1920, the ruins of the buildings were still there. And I suppose it would be similar to what we see today in places like Ukraine and the Gaza Strip and Israel, the destruction. Only we had it here 100 years ago. And as Kieran, the mayor, would have said earlier, Michael Collins, before he died, was actively involved in trying to restore Patrick Street. Now, if we look across here at number 35, Grand Parade, you see where it's the Boots hearing aid shop, just over here with the very unusual shop front? Well, the day that Michael Collins made the speech over here in March of 1922, if you look at the photographs taken that day and the film footage, you will actually see that particular building. And it's fantastic that it's still there, more or less as it was back in 1922, except today it's the Boots Hearing Care shop. Back then it was the Tract and Book Society shop. And of course they were a chain of religious bookshops that had branches in Dublin and all of that as well. Now if we roll into August of 1922, and on the 20th of August, that Sunday evening, Michael Collins' convoy came in here into Cork. And as you probably know, he spent the last 2 nights of his life around the corner there in the Imperial Hotel on the South Mall. And the following day was the 21st, which was the Monday. And that time, of course, the traffic went along where we're all here today on this plaza. And on that evening, Michael Collins' convoy headed out this way, took a left at Singer's Corner and out towards Macroom. And that evening he came back again, that was the Monday, and he had dinner over here with his sister, Mary Collins Powell, and some of her young lads over in the Imperial. The following day was the fateful day, August the 22nd. And just after 6 o'clock that morning, Michael Collins' convoy left the Imperial Hotel and headed out along here again and took a left at Singer's Corner, heading for West Cork and Béarn-na-Bláth. And what's incredible to have here today is the armoured car Sliabh-Amman, a national treasure, and we really have to thank the Defence Forces for bringing it down from the Cork camp here. That would have been coming up at the back of the convoy on that particular day as it headed out for Béarn-na-Bláth along here. And of course that evening then, Michael Collins was shot, and in the early hours of the morning of the Wednesday, the 23rd, his convoy came in here again, and the body was probably taken as far as the Imperial and then taken over to Shanakeel Hospital. And then, of course, the following afternoon, which was Wednesday the 23rd, his funeral left Shankill Hospital, the horse-drawn hearse with his coffin, and came over here to Singer's Corner and down Patrick Street, across Patrick's Bridge, and down onto Penrose Quay, and it was loaded eventually, the coffin, onto the ship Classic, which would take it back to Dublin by sea for the funeral. Now, as the Mayor, Kieran, said earlier, there was 50,000 people here in March listening to Michael Collins making his speech of 1922. On August the 23rd, it was multiples of Corkonians lined the streets along here in stunned silence as they watched his coffin pass through the streets for the last time. And the connections with the history and this particular area here of Cork City is just incredible. Now, my next... Can we raise the volume another little tweak or two? There's people at the back looking for to raise it there. Now, my next job is just a good few thank yous. Only for the help of so many people, we wouldn't be standing here today ready to unveil this beautiful statue. First of all, I'd like to thank the people and businesses from Cork City and County, and the other 31 counties of Ireland, the UK, the United States, who made financial contributions to the statue fund through GoFundMe, personal contributions, or paid directly into the project's bank account. Only for your contributions and your generosity, we wouldn't be here. And this is your statue. It's the people's statue that we're going to be unveiling there very shortly. Now, this whole project has been a partnership between the Michael Collins 100 Committee and Cork City Council. And over the last 13 months, working with Cork City Council has proved to be a hugely positive experience, I have to say, for us. And just to thank people involved with the council. First of all, I'd like to thank the former Lord Mayor, Councillor Deirdre Ford, who launched this project and fundraising drive back in December. I'd like to thank the Chief Executive, Anne Doherty, for all her help in getting this project going. Paul Moynihan, Adrian Rogers, Tony Duggan, Michelle Carew, Karen Fitzgerald, Jordan McCarthy, the Cork City Engineer, David Robb, Cork Librarian, David O'Brien, who comes from the neighbouring townland west of Clonakilty called Tullinashky, just neighbouring Woodfield, where Michael Collins was born. So there's a great connection there between David and the Michael Collins story. I also like to thank David Joyce here in the Council, Director of Services, for all his help. And last but by no means least, I'd like to thank the Assistant Chief Executive, Brian Geeney, for the Trojan work he's put into this particular project. And again, only for Brian's efforts and hard work, we wouldn't be in this situation today. So thank you very much, Brian, for all your work. Now, I'd also like to thank Lieutenant Stephen Ryan and his colleagues for bringing down the armoured car, this national treasure that we're looking at over here. It's just incredible. I'd like to thank the Barrett family of Barrett's Bar in Shannon, and for giving us facilities for holding our meetings over there over almost the last year. Thanks to Cola Print, based in Little Island, who have looked after all our printing needs for this project. Aaron O'Driscoll for a lot of artwork and designing our logo and all of that. I would like to thank the site contractors who did so much work here on this beautiful site. The O'Kelly brothers and McGinty and O'Shea. I would like to thank Ty Crowley, Michael Linehan, Charles O'Sullivan and his staff based in Clonakilty for supplying the limestone surround and doing the beautiful carving and of the lettering, as you will see yourselves in a minute there, into that limestone. I'd like to thank a very old friend of ours from Clonakilty called Tomas Depere. He's one of a kind, great sign artist, but a lot more than that. Tomas came up with the design for the stone surround that you will see there now in a minute, the lettering and the words as well, which are very important. And I'd like to thank Tomas very much for his expert work. And there's a man sitting behind me here who we've been very good friends for a long number of years. And my late father, Dan Crowley, worked with Kevin creating the Henry Ford Model T Ford car sculpture made of stainless steel in the village of Ballinascarthy on the road between Bandon and Clonakilty. That was back in 2000. Some of us worked with Kevin back in 2002, creating the statue of Michael Collins in Clonakilty town that we spoke about. And of course, Kevin has also created this amazing piece that we're about to unveil. Kevin is extremely talented. He's very professional. He's a very tough character. He doesn't get excited, and he's so easy to work with. And he listens to other people's opinions and so on as we went along in this project as well. So, as usual, it was a privilege to be working with Kevin on this particular project. And finally, I suppose I just have to thank my colleagues in the Michael Collins 100 committee. We've one thing in common. Some of our committee are involved in politics, half of the committee are not, and the ethos of our committee is non-political. That was agreed at the very beginning. The one thing we have in common, we have all a huge interest in and admiration for the big fella, Michael Collins. I'd like to thank Councillor Shane O'Callaghan, our secretary, but also, of course, he steered the original motion through Cork City Council, gave us advice in legal matters, and also done a whole lot of work in other areas as well. I'd like to thank Connie Keller, who is our treasurer, joint treasurer, and of course Connie is meticulous about keeping the books correct and all of that, and has put huge work into the fundraising drive, kept control over the whole situation. Thank you very much, Connie. I would like to thank Fidelma Collins, grandniece of Michael Collins. Thanks, Fidelma, for your bubbly personality. Thanks for all your hard work. You're definitely a chip off the old block. You don't shy away from work, I'll tell you that. And thanks so much for all your time and effort. I would like to thank Dwayne Crowley, who will be our tech expert over here. I call him our tech magician. He set up the website, looked after social media, and a lot of other parts of this project as well. And thanks so much, Dwayne. I would like to thank Jerry Carey, businessman Jerry Carey, who gave us tremendous encouragement and advice throughout this project. And again, one of the key figures getting the whole thing started from the beginning. I would also like to thank Trailik O'Donovan, our MC here today. Trailik and myself go back over 30 years. We've been in a lot of campaigns together. And can we take a bit of a break after this one, Trailik? Yeah, I think we might. For a little bit anyway. And just the last member of the Michael Collins 100 committee to talk about and to thank is Noel Scanlon, who's over here. If Michael Collins came to life over there today and he said, "Who's with me?" he would be the first man to put up his hand. He's a great Collins man, a great admirer of Michael Collins, has done so much with the Michael Collins 22 committee over the last over 20 years. A great collector of Michael Collins memorabilia and all of that, and once again, Noel, it's been a privilege to work with you on this project. Now, just to finish up, I would like to thank the wives and partners of the Michael Collins 100 committee. Because over the last 13 months, some of them wouldn't be forgiven to think that they had a new lodger living in their houses. And the lodger was Michael Collins, because it took over the lives of the committee there for the last 13 months. So I'd really like to thank the wives and partners of the committee for their patience and support. And without all of that, again, we wouldn't be standing here today. So, with those few words, thanks for everybody for coming along here today, and thanks for all the support in every way. And I'll pass you back again to Trailik.
Tim. Now I'd like to call on Fidelma Collins, who was a Garnocht or a grandniece of Michael Collins, to speak on behalf of the Collins family.
I'm not as tall as the two men that went before me, so I don't think I need to stand down below. Can I just say thank you to everyone on behalf of myself and the Collins family. The turnout is absolutely wonderful. We appreciate it, and we are so pleased that Michael Collins has still got such wonderful support from Cork City, and I've met people from Dublin and Roscommon and other parts of the country. I want to say a special thank you to the schools that are here today. I know a lot of you, and I'm thrilled to see you here today. And the younger people here from Grattan Street, and the people from Collage to Eamon Reach, and I know Prez are here as well, Ronan. They sent people. Unfortunately, one or two other schools felt it was a little bit wet to come in this morning. But look, there's a lot of the Collins family here. They're sitting here in the front. And we are just absolutely thrilled to be here with you all today. The committee was absolute. I was the only woman on the committee. I used to say me and the boys. But they were just superb to work with. They were a driving force, and you had no choice but to go along on that tidal wave that they set up to deliver this wonderful statue for us here today. We have at the base of the statue a capsule, and everybody who contributed to this project, their name is in that capsule. And there are some school children here today, and they have projects that are in the capsule as well. And I actually took an executive decision, and I took a photograph of the committee, and that's in there as well. So in 100 years' time, when the corporation might have to redo the paving a bit, it'll be taken out, and you'll all be mentioned there. We're delighted to see people across the parties here today, various ministers from both sides, but they're working together in government, and you're working here, and you're here to acknowledge Michael Collins today, and we appreciate that. I'm trying to think who else I should be thanking. I know the Coleman family were very involved at one stage, and I want to thank them. There are other people here today who have given substantial contributions, and I acknowledge those. But for every person out there that gave the £5 or the 20 or the 50, you are equally warm in our hearts, because all your contributions helped us to produce this wonderful, iconic statue today. It's going to be a little bit different to other statues. It's on the ground. He's of the people, for the people, and it's very tactile. And I hope you enjoy it. And again, on behalf of the Collins family, to thank all of you, and to particularly the Collins Committee and the City Council, Shane O'Callaghan, for putting down the motion. But to all of you, you are equally in our hearts, and Goramina Machbev.
Now, the Valin Glaic Kevin Holland, our famous sculptor, who will address you for a few minutes.
Thanks very much to everybody for coming out today. Would you believe I've got more people to thank, but it'll only show how many people are actually involved in this great project. And I'll be repeating what has been said in a lot of cases, but all the same. It's amazing how many people were involved at the various stages of the production, and it's amazing also that in Cork you'll always find the right people that are going to help out. I want to thank my wife Catherine, Rory and Peter, my family, for their patience and their help. And Rory helped with the welding of the bicycle and laser cutting. I'll list out the people, and you can give them all a round of applause at the end because there's so many of them. My brother Mark, for his support in all stages of this, physical and psychological. Joe Nielsen and Simon at the sculpture farm in Macroom, who did so much of the foundry work and did such a fantastic job on that. MTD Engineering for the laser cutting, especially Tomas Topper for his guidance and advice. Andek Engineering for rolling the wheels of the bicycle. Gary Barrett Engineering for metalizing the stainless steel. John Desmond for making the crates and transportation. Ger Murphy for the transport and delivering the piece to its site yesterday morning. David Robb, the engineer, and especially Kieran Hayes, safe pair of hands for landing the piece in its position, and his craftsmanship is very evident for everybody to see. Special thank as well. I want to shout out to Youth Reach for Fermoy, who came up here today to support me and to make sure I wasn't dotting. I don't know, has anybody thanked Tim Crowley? I think he's the major motivator in all of this. I don't think any of this would be happening now without Tim Crowley. And also the rest of the committee, who have been great people to work with. And I think the main point about this committee is that their heart was in the right place. And because of that, there was no stopping it, you know, and what a heart it was. The concept, basically, as has been said already, it's based on the iconic photo of Collins in civilian clothes with the day-to-day transport of the time. And although the photograph was taken later, it represents the time when Michael Collins, when he skillfully conducted guerrilla warfare under the eyes of hostile forces. He fought for the people, he operated among the people, and he disappeared into the people with the compliance and the contrivance of the people. And this is what is being remembered here with this sculpture, and Michael Collins is back amongst the people. Thank you very much.
Now, Anish Agwini our Iana Specialta, our special guest today, agus tá sé déanta gom in order beater in alphabetical order. Tás nó míad le Riana ní Bhuacala, Rina Buckley. Now, Rina Buckley played at senior level for both the Cork County ladies football team and the Cork County camogie team. She has also represented Munster in the Galen Cup and Ireland at international rules. Between 2005 and 2017, she won 18 All-Ireland winners' medals, making her one of the most decorated sportspeople in Gaelic games. In 2012, she captained Cork when they won the All-Ireland Senior Ladies Football Championship, and in 2017, she captained Cork when they won the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Thug she órad an captain in Umláine in Gaeilge an Lásin. She was the first player to captain Cork in both All-Ireland Senior Championships. She was also named as an All-Star on 11 occasions. In 2015, she was named as a joint winner of the Irish Times Sports Ireland Sportswoman of the Year Award. At club level, she played ladies Gaelic football for Dunamore and camogie for Enniscarra, winning 3 All-Ireland club medals between both codes. Between 2005 and 8, while attending University College Dublin, she played camogie and ladies football for UCD-GAA and featured in 4 successive Ashburton Cup finals, finishing on winning teams in 2007 and 2008. She was part of an O'Connor Cup winning team in 2006. Is mór an priviléid agus an ordomsa lécanis a Rina ní Bhuacala chun cúpla focail rá ar an ócéad cáid spíor starúilse.
Agwina agus Harda. Is mór an ordomsa a bheith ansá chun an dalamh úsal seo de bhí hála chuileáin a fuilsigh. Measan gúil sé anarúnach gúil míad ansá I gcathair Corcaí an ómh chun uair a thabhairt de éarnach agus de Corcaíoch mór le rá bhí hála chuileáin. I was born in Cork in 1987, some 65 years after the death of Michael Collins. While I'm no expert in Irish history, I do know this. Like Collins, I was born into a fairly ordinary family in County Cork. However, the privileges and opportunities which my life has presented to me, the freedom to express my culture, my identity, through language, sport, and so on, a free education, these privileges and opportunities were made possible for me, for my generation, and please God, for many generations to come, by the likes of Michael Collins. And I'm grateful to Collins and for the many others who sacrificed so much for the benefit of those who came after him, the likes of me. Ardera, Bavalam Gogardigus, Agoal, Leshan Grupa, Michael Collins 100 Committee, Devaran Maidibra, Atadienta Gwif, Son Mihalo Kalan. Bequivna Ergajo, Devaran Dalav So. Mashiv Glare, Augusta Sulagum, Guminigactina, 10 of us in law. Come we know it.
Garbina Mahal Greenman. And is Seamus Barra O'Muraku, Jimmy Barry Murphy. Jimmy Barry Murphy is a Cork minor and senior hurling manager, a former Cork hurler, Gaelic footballer and association football player. He is regarded as one of the most iconic players in the history of Gaelic games. He established himself as a dual player with St Finbarr's club, a dual four-time All-Ireland medalist with the senior teams. He won a combined total of five Munster medals and 10 championship medals. At the age of 16, he played as a dual player on the Cork minor hurling and football teams, winning All-Ireland medals in both codes. He later won 3 All-Ireland medals with the under-21 teams. As a Cork senior footballer from 1973, he won 1 All-Ireland medal, 4 Munster medals and 1 National League medal. His 11-year career with the Cork senior hurlers saw him win 5 All-Ireland medals, 10 Munster medals and 2 National Hurling League medals. He was an All-Ireland runner-up on 2 occasions. As a member of the Munster interprovincial team in both codes, he won a combined total of 5 Railway Cup medals. Having retired from inter-county activity in 1987, he was appointed manager of the Cork minor team, which culminated in the winning of an All-Ireland title. He was appointed manager of the Cork senior hurling team in 1995, and over the following 5 years under his stewardship, Cork won 1 All-Ireland championship, 2 Munster championships and 1 National League title. Over a decade later, in 2011, he was reappointed as Cork senior hurling manager and won 1 Munster championship medal, 1 Munster championship. In 2015, Jimmy Barry Murphy was inducted into the GAA Hall of Fame. It's more than a roar dumsa glake Jimmy Barry Murphy and ish con couple of focal arrive.
Just on my own behalf and on behalf of my family, I'd like to thank the Collins Centenary Committee and the Collins family. I've known Fidelma for a long time, we're good friends for many years, and it's a huge honour for me to be invited on here today. And the first thing when Fidelma rang me, she said, "Jimmy, don't worry, it's totally non-political." And in fairness to her, she kept her word for once. First of all, I think the idea of the statue here in the Grand Parade is a phenomenal idea. It's one of the greatest things that has happened in the city for many years. I think it's an iconic venue for it because we've all seen that famous photograph of Michael Collins speaking here on that famous occasion that was alluded to already. It was a massive occasion, and the whole idea of it, I think, is a tremendous forward for people going forward and for the city. The amazing thing about Collins, I've read quite a lot over the years about it, and by a strange quirk of fate, both his birth and his centenary coincided with Cork winning hurling and football All-Irelands on both those occasions. So we live in hope going forward, and we'll have another big year next year, hopefully, with the launch of this statue. I just briefly referred to his involvement in GA. I know he went to London at a very, very young age, at 15 I think. He had been involved in the GA in West Cork prior to that, but I think when he arrived in London, he got involved in the Geraldines Club, which at that time were located in the Notting Hill area of London. He became very involved there with the Irish Republican Brotherhood, of course, inducted into the IRB by Sam Maguire, who was another famous West Cork man, of course, and our famous All-Ireland trophy it's named after. So he got involved with Gerald Nice Club. I think most research tends to show that his prowess wasn't exactly on the field of play as regards his skill. I think it was more his organisational abilities, which I think we all saw the results of that for many years afterwards. He became secretary of the club and involved himself hugely in that organisation side of it. And I think he saw immediately that the benefits of having a very important secretary, the work that could be done in the background and organise the whole thing. And as I said, when he came back to Dublin in later years, we saw the fruits of all that. So just briefly, I want to thank, as I said already, the Collins family, the Centenary Committee for having myself, Ronan and Rena here, and I thought I was doing okay till I heard Rena's list of achievements, so it's getting a bit embarrassing. But, no, it's a tremendous honour for the three of us, I know, to be invited as sporting figures. We've had many great sporting figures in this city and county who have represented us all over the world. People like Roy Keane, Sonia O'Sullivan, Raj going to France, coaching, winning away from home. It's always more difficult to go on the international stage. We've had great sports people in this city. Christy Ring, my own hero, going back to my childhood days. And it's a great honour for the three of us to be brought along today to unveil the statue. It's the biggest honour we could have got, I'm sure. So thank you all again for coming along. It's a great day. Thank you.
Inish, Ronan O'Gara. Ronan O'Gara is an Irish former rugby union player and a current coach. He played as a fly half and is Ireland's second best cap player and second highest point scorer. He is current head coach of La Rochelle in the French top 14. He won 128 caps for Ireland, winning 3 Triple Crowns and a Grand Slam in 2009. He played on 3 British and Irish Lions tours, winning 2 caps. He played for 16 seasons with Munster, with whom he won 2 Heineken Cups. He is the 10th most capped and the 6th highest point scorer in the history of Test rugby. He is Munster's all-time leading scorer and holds the Heineken Cup record for points and caps. He scored several match-winning drop goals for Ireland, including in the 78th minute of the Wales v Ireland match in the 2009 Six Nations Championship, in which Ireland won the Grand Slam. He began his coaching career in 2013 as a defence coach with the French club Racing 92 and became assistant defence coach of the New Zealand club Crusaders in 2018. They won 2 Super Rugby titles during his time as coach. He became head coach of the French club La Rochelle in 2019 and guided the team to 3 European Cup finals. They beat Leinster in the final in 2022 and again in Dublin in the 2023 final. He received the freedom of Cork City in 2017 by Cork City Council. Is Moran O'Rodum Sanish, Glake Ronan O'Gara, Kunkupur Fakir.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, children, I will be brief. I'd like to reiterate what Jimmy said. It's a huge honour for my family and I to be invited here. I left in 2013, but the message will be short. Everywhere I go, I like to represent the people of Cork. It means a lot to us and my family, be it Canterbury or Christchurch, Cardiff, everywhere. Special people, great city. I miss it a lot, but there'll be a time when I come back. Thank you for this today. It's very, very humbling to be in front of you all, and to the committee that did all the great work. Continued success, and tá anach Chrysorum, and have a nice day.
Okay, Anish. The come John Spillane gach of John Spillane or Corky. The come she a piece of cure or on special to the locate or called show. John Spillane has composed a song about Michael Collins for the special occasion, and I'm glad to say that he is here today to sing this song for us, accompanied by a piper with him. So I'll give to John Spillane and the piper. I'll get her name in a second. Oh, Miss O'Leary.
Good evening, Is an oor an bhór dom bheithan sániuh ag nochta na delibh álan is seo cógáir na chus le gachéine agus chaimíd an tórán, gur mí maith. Last night I had that dream again where I stumbled on a rusty old Fenian gun in a rushy meadow by a silver stream on the banks of the shining Arragadeen. The light comes streaming down Connaught-Fionn. Live by the gun, die by the gun. Strike a blow for liberty, we'll set old Ireland free. Boys, are you with me? Here is Michael Collins as a boy, full of laughter, danger and joy, mounted on a snow-white mare, flowers falling everywhere. The light comes streaming down Connaught-Fionn. Live by the gun, die by the gun. Strike a blow for liberty, we'll set old Ireland free. Boys, are you with me? Are you with me? He is riding on his father's farm, in his left hand the reins, in the right a blackthorn, the purple thistle and the yellow buchel on, in regiment around him drawn. The light comes streaming down Connaught-Fionn. Live by the gun, die by the gun. Strike a blow for liberty, we'll set old Ireland free. Boys, are you with me? Or against me? Against the casual brutality of empire built on tyranny, on subjugation, denigration. Strike a blow for liberty. The light comes streaming down Connaught-Fionn. Live by the gun, die by the gun. Strike a blow for liberty, we'll set old Ireland free. Boys, are you with me? Are you with me? At the river there's a sniper in the straw. He takes his aim, he makes his draw. Death holds the valley in her cold black maw. A finger quivers on the shivering trigger. The banshee hauls old Bale na Blah. Tá banish le seála ag níl a fola, ó éaldí na léach a bharítí sa runtaí, ag órach na géad gafo a chón is a chón. The light come streaming, don't come up yon. Live by the gun, die by the gun. Strike a blow for liberty, we'll set old Ireland free, boys. Are you with me, or against me? Are you with me? We'll set old Ireland free.
Good morning, John. And now we come to the big part of the day, the official unveiling of the statue of Michael Collins. So I'd like to call on our three special guests, Rina Di Vucala, Seamus Barrow Muraku and Ronan O'Gara, to perform the unveiling ceremony, please. Okay, we now have the first laurel wreath to be laid at the statue by the committee member of 100, Collins 100 committee member, Noel Scanlon. Noel will lay the first wreath at this new monument. Father Brown, please, come to the door. Okay. Now we have the Green Oishla. Can we have a stop of order for a moment, please? Green Oishla. We now have a new ecumenical blessing of the statue by Reverend Aisling Bunworth. A small bit of silence for just 2 minutes, please. We have a ecumenical blessing of the statue by Reverend Aisling Bunworth, a great-grandniece of Michael Collins, and Father Pat O'Malley, SMA. Can we have a small bit of order for a moment, please?
For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory,